Alright guys, welcome back to another reaction video. My name is James.
Ninetailedbrush.
And today we're going to be watching The Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 3. So, for those of you guys who are new here, I have seen the show only once since it came out. You have not seen the show. You haven't seen Star Wars or anything, so we're kind of slowly getting through all of the content. We are watching Rebels just kind of on the side, so we'll be caught up by the time Mando Season 2 comes around. And, yeah. So, last episode we left off with him taking the child. It seems like back for the bounty. I mean, you're heavily doubting that, but either way, that's still a conundrum to deal with, right?
Oh, so yeah, 100%.
We'll kind of see how that all goes down. We just kind of left with him leaving and getting the ship fixed.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes. Any predictions or anything really? And we found out that Baby Yoda is force sensitive, like really force sensitive.
I mean, will he possibly go back to the other Mandalorians and like see maybe like right, like
possibly
what's up with this kid, like, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that'll change his mind or something.
And we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? But as always, the full-length reaction of this episode is going to be up on our Patreon, as well as next week's episode for early access. And there's a bunch of other stuff. Full-length reactions, early access, tons of stuff on our Patreon. And we do try and keep it pretty reasonable if you guys want to check that out. But either way, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. And let's just get into The Mandalorian Episode 3.
Yeah, I'm wondering if what will change his mind, right? Because, I mean, he does feel...
Because he's not a good guy, really, yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen him really do anything that, like, he's like, oh, okay, you know, he's got some, like...
At the same time, Baby Yoda did save his life last episode.
True. Also, I mean, actually, we do see him, you know, be an actually fairly reasonable and respectable person, right?
Well, that's the Mandalorians, right? The Mandalorians aren't, like, completely mindless. They do have a code and a sense of honor and...
Yeah, so, I mean... keep an eye on the kid.
Yeah. Uh-oh. He's clearly not a parent.
Yeah.
Honestly, that'd be more comforting.
Yeah, I feel like...
He's much more nefarious.
I mean,
motives.
Could they... This is the thing, is like... Could they know about how force-sensitive he is? And then want to sort of indoctrinate him into the Sith ways or something like that? That would be kind of...
Can you imagine
crazy.
a Sith Yoda?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Is highly force-sensitive, then some of it is Yoda's personality and beliefs, but some of it is also just raw power.
Yeah, so regardless, he would probably just be a very strong... I just came up with a question that I want to ask about the Force, but I'll probably bring it up a little later.
Okay, we'll ask it later. Because I'm sure I probably don't know, but you guys know, I'm sure.
Okay. Easy, my friend. You take it easy.
Really? Stormtroopers trying to trash talk Mando.
Interesting, though. He still is kind of defensive about it.
Yes. I had to ensure its delivery. But to the winner go the spoils.
Like, come on, this dude, like...
Look at that, dude.
Although I'm pretty sure it is.
For such a small package.
Yeah, exactly why you should be suspicious, dude.
Yeah.
How uncharacteristic of one of your reputation. You have taken both commission and payment. Is it not the count of the guild that these events are now forgotten?
Okay. I doubt that's going to be the last we see of them, though. Can I just say that dude, if he had a hood on,
he'd be a Sith.
He'd be 100% like another Palpatine.
I like him. Let's go. Time to get a new suit of armor, baby.
This amount can be shaped many ways.
My armor has lost its integrity. I may need to begin again.
Indeed. I can form a full cuirass.
These were cast in an Imperial smelter. These are the spoils of the Great Purge. The reason that we live hidden like sad rats.
Our survival is our strength.
So is it a good idea to get armor that's...
Now we live in the shadows and only come above ground one at a time.
But I mean, regardless, he's getting your...
Oh!
When one chooses to walk the way of the Mandalore, you are both hunter and prey. How can one be a coward if one chooses this way of life? Have you ever removed your helmet?
No.
Has it ever been removed by others? This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way. It wasn't a noble kill. I was helped by an enemy.
Why would an enemy help you in battle?
Yeah, that's a good question.
No, it was my enemy.
Alright, so you're starting to get a feel for the Mandalorian culture a little bit.
Yeah.
Which I think is the coolest thing.
Whistling birds are a powerful defense against multiple enemies. Use them sparingly.
I like how every time we come back here, we always get those like
These like flashbacks, yeah.
Yeah, what the heck? Interesting. So was that? But why were there droids? Because
he's look his age possibly, right? If he's like 30, that would be enough. Let's go. Isn't that armor so awesome?
yeah, it's like he's wearing full plate.
Yeah.
How many of them had tracking fobs? All of them. All of them! But not one of them closed the deal. Only you, Mando. Only you. Please, sit, my friend.
Yeah, but that's really it's just really sketchy because it's like it's such a bold statement to be walking around in Beskar.
Take some time off. Enjoy yourself. I'll take you to the Twilight healing baths. I want my next job.
Good job, Star Wars. Keeping it PG.
Ah, that's the best of the lot. A nobleman's son skipped bail. Looks like you're headed to the ocean dunes of Karnak. Any idea what they're gonna do with it? With what? The kid. I didn't ask. It's against the guild code. They work for the Empire. The Empire is gone, Mando.
Not when you got stormtroopers around,
All
buddy.
left are mercenaries and warlords, but if it bothers you,
Yeah, but
It's interesting, like the view on the New Republic, right? Where it's like it's still getting set up. So he's like, okay, sure, like reporting it's not going to do anything.
yeah, I mean, we're in the middle of a change of power. That's like,
And the galaxy is so huge, right? It's like
Yeah.
you can't enforce that necessarily with that big
Not
of a
yet.
galaxy. It's not yet. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if something's been in power for so long, it's like.
We gotta do.
Okay.
What we gotta do.
I wonder if they're.
extract the necessary material. He explicitly wanted us to bring it back alive. Finish your business quickly. If I no longer can guarantee your safety.
Okay.
Extract.
Extracting stuff, but then someone else ordered it to be brought back alive.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are screwed.
Interesting. I rarely see flashlights on the gun.
Yeah.
Normally they have it on like their helmets and stuff. Nice.
That's so cool.
I like how he's using all his different like
Yeah.
weaponry, you know?
You see how skilled he is,
Yeah.
right? He's got to be careful though, because now he has the kid, right?
Yep. Oh.
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 Let's go.
Oh, snap.
Oh.
Drop the blaster! Wait. What I'm holding is very valuable.
Hold the baby hostage. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that is the logical.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna use the. Dang, that was cool.
Yeah, get out of here.
Uh-oh. Yeah, so now,
Yeah.
I mean, right, that's...
And they're all pissed that they didn't get it. I mean...
Well, you gotta know that that's gonna happen,
Yeah.
you know? I mean...
All you gotta do is get off planet.
Yep. The biggest problem is the baby, right? Because the baby doesn't have armor.
And numbers.
Welcome back, Mando. You put the bounty down, and perhaps I'll let you pass. The kid's coming with me. If you truly care about the kid, then you put it on the speeder, and we'll discuss terms.
One of the problems is, though, is that once he drops the kid, right, they can shoot him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that was cool. That was sick.
That's right, droid. You better drive.
One advantage that he does have is the armor, right?
Yes. So he's just gotta protect the baby.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shit. That's not good.
Oh. That will never get old.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna walk to my ship with the kid, and you're gonna let it happen.
Oh shoot, but now he's exposed.
Yeah, careful.
Oh.
Got some AoE going
Ooh.
there.
Of course.
Can you help us out, little Yoda?
Come on.
What was that? What the heck was that? Oh! Oh, okay. You guys are done. You guys are kind of done.
You guys are screwed, man. But live action?
That's so cool. He brought the squad. Dude, that guy looks like Boba.
Yeah. He's got the blue. Look at the heavy.
Relocate the covert. This is the way. I didn't want it to come to this. But then you broke the code.
It's so cool.
It's crazy.
Dude, you're so lucky.
I wonder if he did that on purpose.
He might have.
I gotta get one of those.
True, I forgot that. Yeah, he doesn't have.
He doesn't have all of them, right? Which is cool. I like seeing like they use similar tools, but everybody's kind of got their own version of it. What'd you think?
That was an awesome one.
Right?
That was an awesome episode.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like him going in and infiltrating the stormtroopers is so cool.
Oh yeah, but definitely that end one that stole the show. That was really cool. I don't know why I didn't expect that.
Wasn't it so cool seeing Mandalorians on like as a nerd? Now that we are watching through it all, like you watch the Clone Wars and stuff, and you see all these things, especially that Dave Filoni does. It's so cool for Star Wars, and I think it's so cool to see it like live action.
It is. It's so awesome. You know, you get that sort of like fan giddiness, right?
Yes.
Just like, oh yeah, you get to see that in live action and all that, and it's cool because like, you know, Boba Fett himself was really cool, and Jango Fett. Like,
yes.
Just seeing like more of that is just so awesome.
Yes.
You know, the way that they, you know, their style is very cool. I also like how they're, you know, they bring it back with the whole like that sort of like medieval feel with the naming the armor.
Yeah.
What it's, you know, actually called, which is cool. I like that sort of feel, and the armor actually feels like armor. Mm-hmm. Where I think a few times like the bullets kind of like glanced off and things like that, which is cool. I like that because I feel like a lot of times with the armor in Star Wars, you know, while like the clone troopers and the stormtroopers are cool, sometimes the armor feels very very weak, right?
Well, yeah. So I think that's what's cool that they play with, which it is kind of weak. It works against, you know, I would assume like lower blasters and like hand to hand, but that's why Beskar is so valuable. But
that's why we never see it, right? We never see the armor ever being actually utilized as armor, right? No. And so here it's cool to see like, you know, finally like armor looking like, you know, what it does, what it's supposed to do, right? So it's cool. I like seeing that, and of course, seeing all the different Mandalorians, like that's interesting to me because when I saw because we did that animation or whatever, and we saw when I saw the Mandalorian, his helmet was a bit different, right? Yeah. And I like seeing the little differences in all the helmets, right? Yes. It's interesting.
Yes, it is cool. I like that. I like you get the feel of like, it feels like a knight where it's like everybody has armor, but they're different and you kind of customize it and your weapons are all kind of Mandalorian, but they're different. And sometimes you have a little shield and the fire or whatever, a blaster, an ion cannon or something. I think that's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
What did you think of like the actual like arc, I guess, in this episode? I mean, you kind of knew it was coming, right? I don't think it's that hard to predict, but...
Yeah, I mean, otherwise you'd be like, okay, well, why did you introduce this character?
That's the end of the show.
Yeah, like, for what reason would you introduce Baby Yoda? And with how powerful he is, like, there's no way you'd be like, oh, and he's just a throwaway character, right?
Also, that would be pretty brutal of any show to be like, look at this cute baby. Yeah. They died. It's like, oh.
Yeah, that would be a very unique and very bold thing to do. But, I mean, it's just...
That's a Boba Fett show right there. That's not a Mandalorian show.
Yeah, then you would be like, okay, I understand the tone. Like, the Mandalorian definitely isn't a good guy. Right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't feeling that from him. He doesn't feel like that sort of... And the Mandalorians in general don't feel like that sort of, like, extremely cruel and harsh sort of, like, culture, right? So, you know, I expected him to probably go back and save him or something, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting, though. I wonder... You know, because, I mean, like, I wasn't sure. I mean, I'm still not sure, like, what exactly, like, how many of the Empire's, you know, commanders or even soldiers are there still, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I wasn't sure, like, okay, how is he going to go about this? Is he going to go about it, like, you know, try to do it stealthily where they don't know that he was the one that did it? Because, like, you know, that is a big risk that he's taking. But it seems like...
With the Beskar, though, the stealth is out the window.
That's true.
Which it helped, of course. I don't think he would have been able to do it without Beskar. But at the same time, it's like, oh, a guy in full Beskar armor. Is that hard to track?
No, yeah, but I'm saying, like, if he could have done it to where they didn't even know he was the culprit to begin with.
That's true.
Right? I was wondering if he was going to do that because he'd be worried. I just wasn't sure, like, how far in he was willing to go to save this sort of, like, you know, child that he doesn't really have a connection with, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Also, the question about the Force thing.
Yes.
So we were going on about how Baby Yoda he is very powerful, and it could be either, because of his species or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were saying that Yoda, I was saying that I feel like he is as strong as he is because he's Yoda, right?
Yes.
But if it is the case that certain, like, how should I say, species are more force sensitive than others,
Mm-hmm.
is it partially because sometimes we say like we see that like Sith, they kind of draw their power from certain emotions, right?
Yeah, from like negative, like hate and anger and everything like
Right.
that. Yeah.
And so, well, I guess it could be both. I was just wondering if what exactly is the main source, right?
Of the Sith power?
Of any force power. You know what I'm saying? Because if I have the force,
Mm-hmm.
can I, because of my like extreme, like strong hatred, have as much power as like, someone who might be more talented in it or something? Because like this is the thing is like, let's say they try to train Baby Yoda into becoming a Sith. But like let's say he doesn't, because a lot of times the Sith have some sort of background that because of that they are more like, how should I say,
Hateful.
either hateful or have more negative emotions, right?
Yeah.
But let's say for instance they didn't do any sort of training that made him hateful, because I'm assuming like if you're gonna create a Sith, would you have to like make it so that he hates people
Not
somehow?
necessarily though, right?
So let's say like,
because couldn't you just be a bad Jedi?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So let's say you don't have any hate,
Like you use the light side of the Force,
but you're like for them, like it's because his species, is he going to have a strong connection with the Force?
Well, yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I'm sure
You
you
know
guys
what I'm
know more
saying? Like-
extended. I think that's why, and I may be wrong, of course, please comment, because you guys know so much more Star Wars lore than I do. But I think that's why there are stories and stuff that explore those ideas, because it doesn't fully make sense that there's a light side and a dark side. And, right? Like, that's a little too cut and dry. That actually doesn't quite make perfect sense with now the way that we understand the Force. So I think that there's a way to be in the middle a little bit. Like, I know there were Jedi with like, I think that were kind of in the middle where they were like Force users, but they weren't Jedi or Sith. So I would imagine, because the Force is a tool, and I think the Sith very often use anger because I think it gives you immediate power quicker. So it's easier to be strong quickly, right, when you're angry or whatever. Whereas, like, you see the great Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinn, those people, they're very calm, they have control, but to get that control is much harder than to just be angry. So I would imagine that's why the Sith are more associated with hate, and those kind of things, because that's a quicker way to get power and to draw power from the Force.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying is like, is your emotions the thing that's drawing the power from the Force, or is it some sort of like something that you have, right?
I think you have the Force, and it's like cheap. So it's like you can cheaply channel your power with anger and emotion. But if you learn how to calmly channel your power, that's even stronger and better, and that's why the Jedi are the Jedi. Right, where it's like, I mean, it is a little bit like physical even, right? Where it's like, if you're really pissed in a sports game or a fight, that adrenaline, that anger can be really powerful. But if you can channel that and control it, and then you're super calm, and you're also in a fist fight, you're going to do better. But if you're not trained, or you're new to it, or you're weak or whatever, and you just give in to the anger, you'll be pretty darn strong. I think it's kind of like that. I don't really know. I mean, you guys chime in, of course.
Yeah, that's how I would think of it.
That's kind of how I think of it. So it would be the same with Baby Yoda, where it's just like that is kind of your default, and that's why the Jedi are great, because they rise above the default, which is the anger and the feelings, right? The all of the kind of like baser feelings.
Yeah.
And they rise above.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you can still get the same amount of power without emotion.
I think you can. I just think that unless you're trained, your default is going to be that emotion, that hate, that anger. And unless you are trained to rise, like I almost think that's like a little bit like your base model. Like if you have that power and you're using the Force, you're going to use that because that seems like the easiest and best way to channel your power, unless you are trained to rise above.
No, that's true. If we're saying the Jedi don't utilize the emotions to
or they
power
control their
Force.
emotions, right? So you start out with raw emotion, and clearly that helps you in some way with your Force channeling power.
Yeah.
And then I would imagine that it's like the Jedi are like, A, you can be stronger, but B, this is the right way to do this. Rise above that, control your emotions.
Okay.
So I almost feel like base model human, you are going to get a tendency, and then once you have that tendency, right, then it's like you're going to keep repeating that until you become consumed by hate. That's why a lot of people talk about, I don't know if this is a canon anymore, but like the Kyber crystals bleeding, and that's why they turn red, because it's the hate feeding into the Kyber crystal that makes it turn red, right? So then, of course, you know, if you're like, oh, I get positive results from being angry and freaking out and using this Force power, then you slowly feed into that, and that becomes and consumes you. You get consumed by your hate, right? Which is what you hear Jedi and talking to Sith about all the time.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I would imagine it goes.
Okay.
But I don't really know. So it's interesting. Once again, this is a great show. It draws these interesting discussions and explores different kind of portions of.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
maybe they'll explain it even more. We'll see.
Yeah, I was thinking like, you know, I was just thinking like, so if they, let's say they did take Baby Yoda, could they like make him a great Sith even though he has no hatred or something? You know what I'm saying? That's what I was wondering. Like,
I think so, because I think it's not even a matter. I think you would lean into that hatred. But the question is, who is their Sith Lords alive? I mean, who's alive?
Yeah, I don't know.
And now we're like, okay, are there Jedi alive? Luke, somewhere.
I mean, there's probably a Jedi.
Like, Luke is somewhere in the galaxy, but we don't know.
And I'm assuming, like, there could possibly be, like, you know, I mean, because I've heard of stuff like some Jedi, like, escape.
Of course, right? I mean, think about it. If you had thousands and thousands of Jedi, some of them would have escaped.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they didn't have thousands and thousands of Sith, right? So,
No.
But, I mean, I'm assuming because we have the Empire still there has to be some sort of figurehead, right?
Yeah, but it could... Yeah, so, I mean, it brings up questions. We don't know.
I'm just wondering.
We don't know. Because there's the rule of two, and that was there for a long time. And as far as we know, Vader and Sidious were the only two left.
Yeah, but...
I mean, there
were exceptions in the past.
We don't know where Maul is right now.
Yeah, I mean, if we think about it in the Clone Wars, even though there is that rule of two, there were a decent amount of antagonists with red lightsabers. That, you know, weren't exactly following that rule.
Imagine Dooku shows up. He's like, I didn't die either.
Yeah,
He's got like a metal head.
Dooku was really cool.
I know.
I wish we got a little more of him. Yeah, in the Clone Wars, but.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Who knows? We'll see where it goes from here. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. As always, the full-length reaction to this episode is going to be up on our Patreon, as well as next week's episode for early access. And yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your support. Hopefully you stick around, and if you do, give this video a like, subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.